Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Q&A ahead of game week 32 with myself, Az, who is on a red arrow at just under 500k after playing his wild card. And Sam Bonfield, who's got some kind of ear infection, is also on a red arrow at 315k. Who better could you be asking for advice with your transfer dilemmas? How are you, Sam?
I'm so not all right. Honestly, I am. Actually, to be fair, I'm a lot better today. But God, my ear, I can't hear anything out of my right ear. So I've got no sense of whether I'm talking loudly, whether I'm screaming at people, whether I'm not.
Your levels are good. I don't think you're coming across too loud. I think, if anything, I'm a bit louder than you, which is...
that's unusual.
Very unusual. Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm not sure I could have actually even done this yesterday. It was that bad. But today, I'm not in any pain today, so that's helpful.
Andrew Turton is concerned. He asked how you're feeling.
Yeah, I've got my sinuses is all compacted, which has been causing a lot of pain, and it's also inflamed my eardrum. So I've got a massively inflamed eardrum, which is why everything's been quite difficult this week. Poor old Lee's had a lot to deal with living with me and having the kids at home for the Easter holidays. So why do these things always happen at the same time as? And of course, having an FPL game week to manage when you're feeling absolutely diabolical wasn't great.
No, and
then Saka and Haaland not playing. I didn't
no
even
Foden.
I had 10 players. I didn't even have a full team.
Yeah. Oh dear.
What a week.
You didn't have Foden for his hat trick before, did you?
I haven't had Foden at all this time.
No. Oh dear. I mean, yeah. Get your questions in. We'd love to answer any questions that we've got. Are there some questions about Foden? Let us know. I mean, the decisions are whether to for someone like me who got rid of Foden this week, and for lots of other people, do we move to bring him back straight away? What's happening with Saka? We haven't exactly got a lot of concrete information on that from Arteta today. So, yeah, it's a little bit interesting. Big Fish says Garnacho saved my week. I have had Garnacho, Sam, since I wildcarded back in, game week 8 or 9 or whatever. Benched 2 double-digit hauls for him, played him for blanks, and then I get rid of him when he gets another 15 points. I'm genuinely devastated.
Do you know what's funny? Well, it's actually not funny, is it? But what is funny about it is that we were talking last night, and as Lee said to me, he said, I think Az sold Foden on his wild card. And I was like, oh, no, he didn't. So when Garnacho scored, I was like, oh, at least Az has got Garnacho. And he was like, no, I don't think he's got him either anymore. And I was like, you're joking.
Really bad. I mean, I went for Sarabia because obviously he's got the double in 34, and at least he got an assist and one bonus. But
yeah, I know, but still, you can't help but feel a bit sick about that.
I really like. The trouble is, I feel even though I haven't got any points from Garnacho, I've kind of feel like I've put my arm around him this season.
You've been loyal.
I've been loyal. I've been like, go on, mate. I've given him chances in my team. He hasn't really delivered, but whenever I watch him, I'm like, yeah, he's got potential to do something good for me. He could make the wall this year if I just get hit one big haul from him, and then Foden as well. Now. I mean, Foden's been my favourite player. He was going to make the wall as well, and now I can't because he's hurt me so much. Awful.
I'm going to have to go on the wall this year. I told you yesterday in our chat. It's going to have to be me. I'm the only one that's been loyal to you all season. I come here every single week.
That is true.
In misery with you.
My only thing is at the moment I've got left is our bet with Haaland versus Alvarez, with the loser of that.
I honestly thought
taking the others out for dinner.
when Haaland was benched on Tuesday night and Alvarez was starting up top, I was like, right, this is my opportunity to get a load of Alvarez points in the bag over Haaland. No.
And he plays really poorly, and now probably... How many points is it between them? Haaland's got 156, Alvarez has got 132. We said 20 points. So I'm just winning it by 4 points. I thought it'd be way more than that at this stage.
Yeah, because I think I originally want 30 points and we agreed on 20.
That's it. Yeah.
It's going to be close, that.
It is going to be annoyingly close. And the way Haaland's going, he's not even going to bloody start. Anyway, let's take some questions from the chat. Andrew Turton says, how are you feeling too? As sick?
I'm ill, you're sick.
The only thing is, I mean, I did wildcard, and actually a lot of the players I bought in did all right. So I bought in Isak, for example, who scored. I bought in Darwin, who scored. I bought in Raya, who scored. So they've kind of made up for... Obviously, if I'd had Foden and Garnacho, I would have had a better week. But they've kind of made up for it. Like, I got my red arrow at 498,000 was like 1,000. I talk about a grey arrow, almost identical.
It's not really a red arrow, is it?
Yeah. Sexy B says Garnacho points as. Very clever. But it hurts. Where's the block? Where's the block button? Phil Freddy, as I don't think Yellen was very happy. Was it your fault she didn't have Foden? It's not my fault. She was between Son and selling Son or Foden, and she went and sold Foden, same as me. I don't think I pushed her towards that. I don't have any influence with what Yelena does in her team. She does the bloody opposite of whatever I tell her to do, and
the thing is,
rightly so.
Had Pep come out and said, "Oh, I'm not going to play KDB," then probably you might make a different decision on what you're doing about Foden at that point, because when KDB doesn't play, Foden is incredible.
Foden at the 10 is because also Foden's been playing on the right, and without Walker, we've seen him quite wide.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't often see Foden playing in that central role.
No, and I don't think that you do anything different unless you know that, because Son against West Ham should be a better pick in theory, because but yeah, it's it's just what it is, isn't it? It's
such
FPL
a frustrating game, I tell you.
I know.
Kieran Brooks, Saka and Lascelles to Odegaard and Maguire for free. Madness or genius? Inspired by Andy for the Maguire move. Andy North on Black Box talking up Maguire. Yeah, I mean, a few things here. I mean, Saka out. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the trouble is we don't have any word on Saka, do we? We basically have he's going to be assessed. Thanks,
I'm
Arteta.
benching him. I know. Shocking.
You're
right?
pinching him.
Pinching? Benching, yeah.
I'm the one who can't hear, not you. Don't pinch him. You might get arrested for that.
Well, I was thinking about selling him because he's so highly owned. I think there's obviously a fitness thing going on with him. Important game in the Champions League. Definitely question marks around his minutes. I've got Sarabia, who I'm happy to play at home to West Ham. I think that's a decent fixture for him. So yeah, I'm going to bench him this week. Would I sell him? I think selling him for Odegaard is a decent shout. I quite like that move. I like Saka and Lascelles to Odegaard and Maguire.
I hate the Maguire pick.
He's 4-2 though. There's not really too many other options. I mean, Gusto's 4-3.
Yeah, but Maguire. I mean, did you like the game last night? Honestly, they were so bad, and then now they're all injured. What is Maguire doing for you? I mean, unless you're bringing him in to literally sit on your bench and you're not planning to play him ever.
You play him Sheffield United at home, maybe, and then a double.
Maybe, but I can't. In no world is Harry Maguire a good pick to me. Is he a better pick than Lascelles? Yes, but only because Lascelles is injured and out till the end of the year.
It's just the lack of real budget defenders. There's Branthwaite at 4-3. You've got Van Heck at 4. I'd probably rather go for Van Heck actually.
I would. I'd far rather have Van Heck. At least there's an opportunity for some clean sheets at Brighton. Not very many, but there's more of an opportunity than there is at Man United. Yeah. Particularly with the game against Liverpool coming up. Yeah.
So Saka and Attaboy says here, with the money you gain from Saka to Odegaard, you could go for 8 Nori.
Much prefer that.
8 Nori looks a fun punt.
Yeah, much prefer that.
Yeah, I agree. Chris Holy, good question. When to ship Bradley? I've got Bradley. I'm getting a bit worried about Trent's imminent return. Probably gonna give him this week against Man United.
You're all right this week. You'll be all right this week.
Yeah, and then it's Palace at home, but then Trent. I'd like to give him Palace at home, obviously. So
you see, I don't know that he'll get Palace at home because I think Trent's going to be back in team training, parts of team training next week. That's what Klopp said. So my thinking is that Bradley's going to play in the Europa League on Thursday evening, and maybe Trent is back at the weekend. Now, the one caveat in all of this is that just because Trent is back doesn't necessarily mean that Bradley doesn't play, because it's possible that they put Trent in the 6. He plays there in the absence of Endo, and McAllister therefore gets to play in the 8, which is where he is so much better. It's difficult, the ship Bradley thing, because it is very possible that we get to 34 and he's not playing, but it's also possible we get to 34 and he is playing because Trent's playing in midfield. Yeah. So I think you wait on shipping Bradley until he doesn't play and then you move him on.
Yeah, I think it's interesting with, like you say, with the Europa League. If he starts on Thursday and then Klopp comes out and says Trent's fully fit and available, you'd think Trent gets minutes. But then we want to see whether Trent, like you say, where he plays. Because Bradley has been immense at that right back position. So it does seem quite harsh for him just to suddenly drop him out as soon as Trent's back. And Klopp can experiment a bit, can't he? It's his final season as well. Where was Trent playing before his injury? Was he at right back?
Yeah, it was a bit all over the place, wasn't
Yeah.
he? And the thing is that Bradley has been really good, so he could keep Bradley in that right back position, not play Trent, and then not play Trent there and play Trent in the middle instead. I think it's quite hard to call actually what happens with Bradley. So I think if you're a Bradley owner, just keep holding, keep starting until the point comes where he stops starting for Liverpool.
Yeah. The thing is, he offers a lot going down the right. I wonder if Trent comes in, he could maybe move Gomez to right back as well, offer a bit more protection on that side, because they've got options, haven't they? Like Robertson and Simicast on the left now, because Gomez has been playing on the left, but now Robertson's back and got the assist, played well last night. You've got to think Robertson's going to come back in. So what does that mean for Gomez? He's been pretty decent for them over the last few weeks. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. I don't think I'm going to want to play Bradley in 34. I think by that point there's going to be too many, but I want to give him the chance to see if he does still start, and because at 4-2, if he's a starting Liverpool defender for 4-2, he's still a great option.
Agreed, yeah.
So hold for now. Dragon Lot says I'm also pinching Saka this week. James Hayes says I thought she said pinching. I swear you said pinching.
I didn't. I said benching, but you can go with pinching.
Yeah, listen back. Light Rays, who to captain this week? This is the big one, isn't it? Who's your captain on?
I've moved it about 5 times today. So it was on Palmer all day yesterday. In fact, it's been on Palmer since the game week 31 deadline.
Same as me, yep. I know where this is going, and it's exactly the same as me. Yep, go on.
And then I flicked over to watch... So we obviously watched Liverpool because, Lee. And we flicked over to watch the end of that Chelsea-Manchester United game. And I watched how absolutely dreadful Manchester United were towards the back end of that game and was like, Salah. But goes off on 59th minute, so he's not played a full match. He's gonna be back in the starting 11 at the weekend. His record is ridiculous, by the way, in the last few matches against. In fact, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is because I looked.
Oh, please do.
I looked it up this morning when I was doing my lines. So he's got 9 goals and 4 assists in the last 6 Premier League meetings with Manchester United. That is obscene. There is a grudge thing there as well, isn't there, with the FA Cup result from a couple of weeks ago. McAllister surely is in the 8, which is so important. Like, you saw Salah's little face, like, when it was clear that McAllister was going to go in the 8, Salah was like, yeah. And then immediately afterwards, he's like, number comes up to be subbed. And the look of like,
come on, I was about to
raging. I was about to go off. Yeah, cause I'm really torn. It's those two for me. Like, I'm not thinking about Son at all. I know some people are thinking about Son. I'm not. I think he's a good enough pick at home against Nottingham Forest, but I think we will struggle, as we always do. But it's close between Palmer and Salah for me. Is it for you? Is they the two for you?
No, I'm between Haaland and Palmer.
Oh, it's interesting. I've not even thought about captaining Haaland this week.
Well, my I know we've had a bit of a vague conference from Pep today. They asked him, and he said he hasn't decided whether Haaland's going to be back in the team. I don't think Alvarez covered himself in glory in that match anyway. And what, is he just not going to play Haaland again until the end of the season? I'm almost sure he's going to come back in for the Crystal Palace game, and we might know. We sometimes get information, don't we, about whether who's going to be starting. So if Haaland starts against Crystal Palace, I think he could be a bit of a differential in some circles, because I don't think many people are going to go there. I think Salah and Palmer and even Son are going to be so popular. I think Haaland could be under 100% EO.
Well, that'd be great, because I'm not going to captain him.
Yeah.
I hate captaining the early kickoff, as it will ruin my whole weekend.
Well, I know that it is annoying that you've got the Chelsea and the Spurs and the Liverpool Man U game all on the Sunday as well.
My whole weekend will get ruined. Honestly, I'm not one of these managers that cannot be affected by a lunchtime captaincy foul. It really, really, really triggers me.
But my thoughts on it, I've had it on Palmer since the start, and I'm less inclined to go for him because he got the hat trick, and I know more people are going to captain him. That seems a stupid way to play.
I really like the Palmer captaincy, and I really like the Salah captaincy, which is why I haven't thought about Haaland at all. I don't know. I think Haaland comes back in. It's Champions League next week, though. Do you think there's a chance that actually he goes, you can play in the Champions League next week, Alvarez, you can start this one, and if we need Haaland, we'll bring Haaland on?
No, I don't think so. Not after he missed 90 minutes. He was about to come on for City, and then they scored the last goal, and then he was like, okay, we don't really need you anymore. He needs to give him minutes ahead of the game, and typically when he's fit, he plays. I think he's had this injury, isn't he? And I think it was just a case of taking him out for a game and giving him that bit of a rest. I'm sure he starts against Crystal Palace. But he has been off form, and Palace at home, kind of a funny team. I just think Sheffield United at home, we know are awful, and we know that Palmer is absolutely flying. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be Palmer for me, but it is very close. FPL Freddy says Palmer, he bullies weaker sides, gets most of his double-digit scores against them. Yeah, he does.
The thing is, they also they're almost guaranteed to get a penalty with the way that Chelsea play. He's so good, and if Chelsea are going to score, it's going to be Palmer. That's the other thing, is that in the Liverpool team, if Liverpool score, yes, it could be Salah, but it could be Darwin, it could be Gakpo, it could be Diaz, it could be there's so many options in that team that it could be. Whereas in that Chelsea team, genuinely, where would Chelsea be if it wasn't for Cole Palmer this season? Relegated?
Not 10th.
Relegated. I genuinely think they'd be in the fight bottom for relegation. More than bottom half. I think they're in the bottom the bottom quarter of the league. They're down with Everton and Forest. Genuinely.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are fun.
Take his goals out. I know that other people would have scored the penalties, probably. Although the only one that he hasn't taken, didn't Sterling miss?
Well, giving penalties to Sterling is not the best course of action. They are a funny side. I think that's one of the things that kind of puts people off Palmer, isn't it? Because they just don't trust Chelsea as a team.
It's what put me off in midweek, captain in Palmer.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it for midweek because I like the fixture. And then I thought, I just don't trust Chelsea. And I'm trebled up on them.
Have you got Petrovic, Gusto and Palmer?
Yeah. My goalkeepers, honestly.
Adam Stevo says that's because we've got a lot of divers in our side.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
But... Your words, not ours, Adam.
They do fall over a lot.
They do. Jamie Hayes says I haven't owned Haaland since game week 8, and I'm happy to carry on with it. That's interesting. I debated going Haalandless on the wild card. I couldn't see enough of an upside to it, given that we haven't got any real premium defenders that we're looking for, any premium midfielders other than Son. If we'd had like a De Bruyne or a Kane or a Trent knocking around, I could see a bit more appeal, but there didn't feel like enough that I could do with it. But yeah, he's not got the same fear factor that maybe he had last year.
No, I would agree with that. I just think that for me, I was very similar to you. I just couldn't see the benefit of not having him because in my head I was like, well, if I go without Haaland, all I'm going to do is leave the money in the bank for Haaland, and then what's the point in that? I might as well just have Haaland.
Yeah.
So I think if you haven't got him and you've been prepared to take that risk, then great. But I just
Luton at home the week after next is going to be without Haaland. If he starts in that's going to be a big
but that's got rotation written all over it, hasn't it, between the Champions League matches?
Yeah. Imagine Haaland doesn't start and Foden does again in that Luton game. Oh.
Or does it go the other way? Like, Foden's got to have a rest at some point, surely. Or is this Pep? Who knows? I can't even second guess Pep.
Who knows? I know. I mean, the thing is it's got to be Foden playing in that 10. I think with Walker out to make him like one of the best options in the game. If we see De Bruyne come in, if we see Foden go back over to the right, then he's not as good an option. I mean, I think he had 4 shots against Villa and 3 goals. And the first goal, like the free kick, I mean, how is that going in? Don't get me wrong, I love Foden. I think he's an amazing option, but he's not going to score hat-tricks. And he is quite a hit or miss player. If you see, I think the last 9 game weeks, he had 5 blanks and 4 double-digit hauls. Like, that is a weird...
Yeah.
That is a weird thing. Ken has sent us a super chat. Thank you very much. He says we won't see Trent in midfield this season again. Yeah, we just don't know, do we? I would have thought he comes back in at right back, but...
I would too. But I don't know that for definite. Like, I don't think we can categorically say that Bradley will automatically lose his spot. And so when you're dealing with the Bradley decision, I think it's something you can delay until Trent comes back and then we can see it. I guess that's what I'm saying. I do agree with you. I do think that when Trent plays, he's going to play in defence. I think the only caveat is if Endo is actually out. Like, if they haven't got a number 6, then they could put Trent there.
Yeah, I agree. Drew Peacock says the Premier League to make a rule change to force teams to give valid injury updates like the NFL do. The reason they get so many viewers is because they have fantasy interests. Thoughts? That's interesting. I wonder if the game would move that way, where fantasy football becomes such an important thing that, you know, getting the full advice for people's fantasy football team becomes more important. No, I doubt it.
That'd be quite fun though, wouldn't it?
It would be good. Imagine if we knew every week exactly who was going to play and who wasn't.
Yeah, I would like that. That would be really nice. Some managers are kind of truthful though, aren't they? Like, sometimes you listen to, like, Postecoglou.
Yeah.
No Richarlison this week.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, if you've got Richarlison, you can make an easy, informed decision based upon that, rather than saying, "Oh, I don't know. They're going to be checked."
De Zerbi's good as well for
He
Brighton.
tells the truth. Yeah.
He does. He said Joe Padro was going to be back. He was back in the starting 11. He said about Matoma's injury out for the season. He's you know what you're getting with him as well. So yeah, I like that. Spaghetti, lovely name. Do I start Bradley or Zabani?
Who have Bournemouth got?
They got Luton away.
Zabani.
With the injuries Luton have got, I think you start
Yeah.
Zabani. Yeah, and set piece threat too, given that they've got no centre backs available, and we know that he can score because he killed my season with that. Honestly, I know I said it earlier, but not going for Kirkes over Zabani, I think has genuinely killed me this season, because not only the points lost, it pushed me into an early wild card. That meant I took out Garnacho. It's a whole butterfly effect of things with that one move. Nightmare.
I never really understood the Kirkes pick. I remember sitting on a Q&A with you going, "Why are you not getting Zabani? Why are you getting Kirkes?" Don't you remember? I got Zabani, you got Kirkes that week. Why? I didn't really understood it.
I thought I was being clever. There's no other reason than that.
Oh, this is why I love you, because there's no like hiding it. I thought I'd be clever.
Do you know what? The stats didn't even look good for him. I just thought, no one's going to get Kirkes. He's going to do really well. And I looked at Zabani and think, it's just the fact everyone... It's the problem with doing content and going on Twitter and everyone's buying Zabani. I'm like, I just don't want him now. Like, he's too popular. And it's just the best pick. I do it all the time. It's my biggest problem with FPL. I try and be different and just get absolutely murdered, and then I go template and everyone has a go at me for being template, so you literally can't win. It's almost impossible. Kareem says double Arsenal defence against Brighton. That's what I'm doing. I've got Raya and Gabriel. We're going to find it really hard to score against Arsenal. They're so good. They are so good. I mean, we scored against Liverpool and people weren't expecting us to, but they were playing like Konsa, Gomez and Bradley. They're decent players, and Kelleher in goal. This is exactly a full strength Liverpool side. Arsenal with Gabriel, Saliba, Raya, White, Zinchenko, Rice in midfield. We're going to find it really hard to get a goal against them. I think we lose that game pretty comfortably.
My biggest regret is I didn't double up on the Arsenal defence, and I didn't do it for a reason. Like, when I wildcarded, for a lot of my wildcard window, I had Raya in goal, or I had Saliba and Gabriel at the back, or I had Saliba and White at the back. My biggest regret is that I didn't stick with one of them. And in the end, I decided that I wasn't 100% sure that I didn't want Saka and Ødegaard in attack for the double. And so that's why I didn't do it, because I didn't want to lock myself. But now they're so good defensively, and somehow I've got Pickford and Petrovic. Like, what? So now I'm just like,
They seem like such good ideas at the time.
They did. And even and Lascelles. I've got Lascelles who's injured. So my new plan is to double up on the Arsenal defence, but I'm not doing it this week simply because I can't afford it. I can't go from Lascelles to one of those Arsenal players because I don't have quite enough. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to do it next week when I can do 2 transfers for free.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take a -4 for it. But yeah, it's. I would, if you've got to, just play that, because Brighton are good sometimes and Brighton are terrible sometimes, and you just don't know really what you're going to get. And there's a very good chance that, I mean, Arsenal are the best defence in the league. So if anyone's going to clean sheet, it'll be them.
Yep. No, well said. I don't feel too bad about benching those, especially when other defence are so flaky. Knife fan, should I start Foden or Conor Gallagher? No, Conor Gallagher has like 6 in 6 or something. 6 tackle turns in 6, something like that.
I was writing about him this morning. It kind of took me by surprise, actually, that Conor Gallagher has been as good as he has been. And he's only owned by like 0.5% of the game as well, which has also surprised me a little bit. I think you have to start Foden, though, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't think that you cannot start Foden unless Pep decides to do a Pep on us.
Although it's Sheffield United, I don't know. It's tricky. It's Conor Gallagher though.
Presuming you've already got Palmer as well, so you play Palmer.
I mean, if you've got Saka, I'd probably bench Saka for Gallagher. I'd find a way to play both. I think. I know that's not always the most useful answer, but
I think if you can't bench anyone else, though, I don't think you can bench Foden.
No.
I really don't. Even though Gallagher's got Sheffield United. Like, that Chelsea team, it's mostly about Palmer, isn't it? Well, in fact, it's all about Palmer, really.
Yeah. Sexy Beast, I went with Zinchenko way back and he got me 1 haul and then went AWOL for 10 weeks. And I binned him before he came back, 9 points in midweek. I've had that before. I remember I had that last season with Ake. I had Ake through all of these blanks. He got injured and stuff, and then I sold him. And do you remember he came back and he scored and got a clean sheet? He came back for Pep said, yeah, Ake's out, and then he played him in the first game of the double, and he scored. Absolutely livid, fuming at that. Anush says Gordon or Johnson.
This is tough. Right, I'm really struggling with what to do about Gordon, because I've got Gordon, but it's away. He's rubbish away. Brennan Johnson is in fantastic form, and it's at home.
You don't bench Gordon. Sorry,
I don't think
you don't bench Johnson.
No, not against
Johnson,
his old team as well. Like, there's something in that as well, isn't there? Like, playing against Forest at home when you are the informed Spurs player in front of the 61,000 people on Sunday night who all are like, you're the man right now. You don't bench. I don't think you can bench Brennan Johnson. I currently have Anthony Gordon on my bench. Take with that what you will, because, I do have a habit of benching hauls, but it's away, and it's the away thing. Like, I've got to choose between Munez and Gordon, effectively.
I've just got the pun for Drew P. No, it's actually worse. I thought maybe if I said it in slow motion, it would be better. But yeah, I feel like the teacher, when they're reading out like a rude name.
Yeah, don't do it.
Drew
do
Peacock. It is good. That is a good name. I didn't realise when I said it as well. Singing the Tales says, please tell me he has realised. Yeah, only just realised. Michael Scott. I'm worried now with the names, although that's an Office reference.
Why am I so easily entertained by this nonsense? This was such a child.
True Peacock. Oh,
stop saying it over and over again.
I'm going to get him on my wall. Absolute legend of the game. Start Gabriel, 8 Nori, Vardiol ahead of Doggy and Bradley. 8 Nori with West Ham, Vardiol with Palace, Gabriel with Brighton. Would I want to bench a Doggy?
I think I would start Udogie over Vardiol. I think Palace score. That Man City defence is terrible most of the time. And Udogie's got more attacking potential than Vardiol.
I don't know. Vardiol,
Gabriel and 8 Nori, yes, definitely.
I'm biased because I've got Vardiol and I really am rooting for him to do well. So I think Forest probably score as well. I think I probably would bench him, but it's not much in it.
I think Forest score as well. But I think Palace score. So basically you're talking about who's got more potential for... And actually, so we should include Bradley here because it's basically on who's got more potential for an attacking return.
Yeah, well, I don't think Bradley's got the least chance of a second return, I'd say, out of those. I'd say, well, Vardyal doesn't really get forward, does he?
Vardyal's probably got the least, I'd say. Udogie and Bradley, I think Udogie's got more chance than Bradley. So therefore I'd play Udogie. And Udogie's got the home game.
There's not much in it.
Not much in it.
Between Vardyal and a doggy, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely start Gabriel in 8 Nori though.
Yep.
Yes.
Drew says, I thank you. Some crying, laughing emoji faces. People clearly enjoyed that exchange as well.
I'm waiting for there to be another one now. Somebody's going to say something funny in a different name, aren't they?
I saw a message for someone asking me about Saka, but I can't even find out where it is now. I'll tell you what it said. Damster says, hey, both Muniz, Bowen or Solanke to bench. Oof.
This is almost as bad as Muniz and Gordon one.
Oh.
I'm going to have to look at the fixtures for them.
Fulham have got Newcastle. Bowen's got Wolves away.
But Fulham are at
Solanke's
home. Who's Solanke got?
Luton away. You can't bench Solanke.
You can't bench Solanke against Luton, no.
Oh, Muniz or... I'd probably bench Bowen, you know?
I think I would too. I'm really struggling because I had Muniz on the bench for a part of this week, and I just don't think you can. Not in a home game against that Newcastle. Have they even got any players to play in that defence this week?
Well, no, I know. This is what I mean.
They're 10 players down, aren't they? Isn't that what Eddie Howe said? They've got 10 injuries.
Well, Rune says here, you said you would bench Saka as. Would you bench him for Muniz? I probably would. I really want to play Muniz against Newcastle.
When Saka goes off, don't you come crying to me.
Well, a half-fit Saka against the best team in the league, or Muniz at home to a team who you've just said you left me playing the kit man at centre back.
The best team in the league.
Yeah.
Have you got your Brighton goggles on?
What if I said second best team in the league and you had Spurs as first?
That's still a lie. We are currently the 5th best team in the league. That's where we are currently. Benching Saka feels all...
For Sarabia as well. What can go wrong? Absolutely nothing.
You answer this question because this was one for you. I'm not getting involved in this. This is your
nonsense.
I
would definitely. I'm benching Saka for Sarabia, and Muniz is a better option than Sarabia. So yeah, I would do it. Unless I just think Arteta's comments are vague, and before we've seen him be vague and Saka just start every week with no danger. Well, there is danger now. He's taken off early in their most important game against Man City. He's benched in the next game against Luton. They've got a really important Champions League tie against Bayern Munich coming up. I don't know. I think he could well be benched for this and get 30 minutes. So would I rather have a guaranteed player playing 90 with a good fixture? Yeah, I probably would. It could go completely wrong, don't get me wrong, but...
So, here's my view, for what it's worth, is that if Saka is fit, Saka starts.
Yeah, okay.
If Saka's not fit, Saka doesn't play. So, my view is, you start Saka, because if he's not fit, he's not in the squad, because he's not risked. Arteta will not risk him. He's too important to them. So, but, equally... They will not win the league this year unless they beat teams like Brighton. They have to. They have to win every single match. And Saka is really, really important to them. So if he is available and fit, he will play him.
Do you know how many times Saka has come off the bench this season?
None.
This is correct. Zero.
He starts or he doesn't play.
Yeah. No, good point.
So my view with Saka is that you play him, you have a good first sub. Like Sarabia, if you really want him.
Hey.
And then you know that, okay, if Saka's not there, then it's because he genuinely isn't fit enough. Like, I think I certainly thought, that Arteta was doing us all a wrong and just resting Saka. And I was like, you're a lunatic. What are you doing? I appreciate that it's Luton, but you want to win the league and you're resting your best player. Like, and not just putting on the bench, like just leaving him out of the squad. But no, it's not. It's an injury, right? So actually the thing is, if Saka's fit, Saka starts.
Yep.
So start him, and then if he doesn't start against Brighton, he won't come off the bench, unless he's like, because if he's not fit, he won't risk him.
Yeah, I guess the question is like, is he even if he starts, is he a great option if he's got this fitness issue? and he's playing in a tough game? Does he just get 50, 60 minutes?
Well, he might get 50, but he might. But equally, I don't think he will, because I don't think that Saka will start if he's not fit. I don't think he'll risk him, because they've got the Champions League next week as well. I think they'll go into that game with the best team that they have available to them to win that match. They won't carry someone through the game just because it's Saka. I think we learnt quite a lot about Arsenal, actually, in that Luton game. Like, Saka wasn't fit, so Arteta didn't risk him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, interesting. Final question for the day, because I have got to run and catch a train. But we've got, this is not a brag from Dreaming FPL, but bench one of Solanke, Haaland, Darwin, Salah, Son, Saka, Foden or Palmer. You know what I'm going to say.
Well, you want to bench Saka because for some reason you've got a hatred of him at the moment. What the hell are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, that's tough. How can you afford that? All those players. I'd be miles
their
off.
Defence must be so bad.
I am miles off being able to afford that.
I mean, to be fair, that is actually quite close to my team.
Yeah, but it's got Foden in it, and you've probably got like
Gordon,
yeah. So that's an extra 3 million.
Yeah, but that's in the defence probably. That's in Pickford and Petrovic.
Even if I went ultra cheap in defence, I still couldn't get anywhere near that. So yeah, that's nice. I'd bench Saka. You know you would as well. You don't want to say it because you just told me not to.
I don't think I would. Genuinely,
No?
I don't think. I think I bench Solanke.
That's what Attaboy says. I don't believe you, Dreaming FPL, that you've got.
I sold Solanke, so I don't value him as much as I do Saka.
Okay, you bench Solanke, I bench Saka. Let's see who does better this week.
I am going to be texting you when that Arsenal Brighton game is on. You best know that I'm going to be hitting up your phone.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
No, you don't. You're like, oh, it's Blair again.
Oh, just leave me alone. Block. What's that block? Never.
You better not. We've got date night coming up in a few weeks, so you better not be blocking me. I'll be cross.
Oh, we do. Yeah. We're coming over to you, aren't we? To go to the correct restaurant after the last time I booked the wrong one.
Yeah, because I've booked the right restaurant this time.
Yeah. Good. Well, we're going to end it there. I'm going to do one final shout out to Drew Peacock, who has made my afternoon. Sam, pleasure as always. We'll be back again next week
with some green arrows, next week.
We'll
be back with green arrows.
Unless Saka gets 20 points on my bench.
All right, then you're getting a red arrow, but I'll be still getting a green arrow.
But we'll be back next week. Good luck, everyone. Like and subscribe to the Fantasy Scout YouTube channel if you haven't already, and we will see you all very soon.
Bye, everybody.